Alright, so you're working on Lab 3.2, the mass drop. And if you need a copy of the lab, go into the drive. And it's in Unit 3, Labs. And there it is, Lab 3.2, mass. Sheets. And we've been duplicating. And probably it's still called L2.3 Zamboni. So what I'm going to do actually is rename that. And let me just call this Unit 2/3 Labs. Rename. And then, I know I'm using this for all of my labs. I open it up, and the tab down on the bottom will tell me what lab I'm working with. So there was Lab 2.3 for the Zamboni. Here is Lab 3.1 for the phone drop. Now, what I recommend on that lab paper you were just looking at, the phone drop lab, you had cleared out the frame column. That's column A, you see here is empty. The adjusted frame we counted from 0. Then you had times, and then you had distances. This is the same exact format. Let me hit that check in the top left. This is the same format as Lab 3.2. So if you click the little arrow next to Lab 3.1 down in the tab, duplicate. Now we have copy of Lab 3.1. Let's rename that to L3.2 mass drop. Okay, there it is. Notice I put no space because I've actually already done this, and I didn't want to have the same tab name. They won't let you do that. Okay, so here, though you call this Lab 3.2, it is still Lab 3.1. The adjusted frame is 0, 14, 20. Well, that's not the case. Now, the adjusted frames are actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's all you're going to have. So here's 0. And you can do the +1 if you want, or you could just keep it simple since we're only doing 6 of them. 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Now notice there are 2 extra rows of data. You may have more than 2 extra rows, but what you want to do with those is highlight them all, and then click and clear, because they are not part of your data. Now you may think you're good to go here, but really you're not, because your times were based on a 240 frame rate. This one is based on a 60 hertz right here. That's 60 frames per second. And so you're going to divide instead by 60. Now I've programmed this off the side to automatically adjust for me, but you can just come in here and do 0, divide, whatever it is, B2 divide 60, and then copy and all the way down. So I'll show you how that works. If you don't have this formatted like mine, basically you come over here, equals. You want the adjusted frame, so B2, you can actually touch that cell, or you could type in B2, divide 60, and then drag down. Actually, first you got to copy it. Copy, then drag down, paste, and you get your answers. Great. The thing that you have not yet updated is the distance. These distances are wrong. The first one is 0, but the others are definitely not. Are definitely not 0.02, 0.04, and so on. You may want to clear those straight away. The distances actually come from the lab over here. So the first distance was 0, but the next one we said 0.021, and then you have your guess digit, which does not need to match mine. Let me say I'll do 0.021, I'll call it 3. That's 4 places to the right of the decimal, so I'm good to go. So my first data point is actually here. Notice it looks way out of place, but don't worry. Once you get some more data points in here, this will start to make some sense. Then you fill in the rest of these, and once you have them all filled in, your graph should take shape, and you will have an equation. And then you'll come over here to L3.2, and you'll do what it says. So based on your experience with timer tapes, okay, you can comment on each of these just by looking. What does the pattern tell you? There's nothing terrible here. Based on your trend line, determine the initial displacement velocity and determine the acceleration. Which did you expect to be 0 or close to 0? Then you're going to do a percent error. So these are all very light, easy things to do. Sources of error, we can talk about that briefly. And then sketch D versus T, V versus T, A versus T. Anybody who's interested in that calculus bonus, here it is. You can ask me about this after school one day. This is not due at the same time. So you're not handing me this lab paper, but you are going to hand in that printout of the Google Sheet. Make sure your name is on there. Good.